Hey, Cancer. Happy new moon in your sign. And there's also the Sun and Jupiter in your sign at the time of this reading. So, a lot going on, very auspicious, which is kind of a juxtaposition of what I was getting through meditation. And I was really getting more of a vibe than images in my mind's eye, like I would typically receive. Uh, very, I almost want to use the word sinister energy. And I don't like opening with something like that sensational of an adjective, uh, but I think that's the right word, adjective, whatever. Anywho, it just feels very lurky and sneaky and slimy and like almost the feeling. It's going to sound like a bit of a weird analogy, but it kind of felt like I was being stalked by a xenomorph. So, any horror fans out there understand like how ominous that is and how scary that is. And it wasn't like quite to that same level of terror, but I definitely felt like just kind of the hairs on the back of my neck were up, and it just like someone's lurking in the vibe, and I don't quite know what's going on yet. But we've got the moon and the sun in reverse out here as the significators because we're in the dark moon phase right now with the new moon. So, um, No Light, No Light by Florence and the Machine just popped in my head. Um, so I want to see what doesn't want to be seen. And I was kind of bringing that with the colors tonight, like the white arm warmers, the white candles. It feels like there is something that doesn't want to be seen. And I mean, if you think about that analogy with the xenomorph, like the first movie, and I mean, I guess others too, but the first movie is really what is sticking out to me. Of it wasn't the xenomorph, xenomorph that didn't want to be seen. It was the people. Like they were trying to hide from it, and it almost feels like a dramatized, like wait out whatever comes sniffing around. Like it almost feels like a false threat or something. And I mean, the xenomorph definitely wasn't a false threat, but who do we have here? Some court cards, looks like. So some people involved. Knight of Wands in reverse and Queen of Wands in reverse. Hmm. And so, right next to each other in the suit, so maybe I'm gonna go with like I don't know, a work example. It's like one of those end of the day meetings that you get called into that makes you like super anxious or something. Um, and I almost feel like there's two people, like there's two people of different ranks in that meeting, and they want you to do something and think it's your idea. Very manipulative. That's just what I'm getting. And I don't typically get that from the wands, but that's where that idea piece is coming from because they're in the suit of wands. So let's see. I want to get another clarifier here. And this is the Kawaii Tarot, Kawaii Cat Tarot. I actually really like this guidebook, especially if you're new to tarot, because it breaks down both upright and reverse meanings, and in multiple areas like finance and love and friendship and so forth. Um, and very reasonably priced and so cute. They're so round. How do you get that round? But let's see. Get another. Let's get a clarifier on these wands people. And just because of the vibe, I am reading the court cards as individuals as it's coming out right now. Like, because we've got the sun in reverse and the moon, it's like their intentions don't want to be seen. It feels very gaslighty, and it's a little early yet. Haven't seen any of the like gaslighty cards. But I mean, it is the suit of wands. You could look at like wands in reverse as like gaslighting. It's like that joke. How many narcissists does it take to change a light bulb? None, because they use gaslighting. So like you could look at the wands um, in reverse as that those more negative qualities, those more like antagonistic qualities, and that's how I see the king and queen of swords in reverse. Those are like the top tier, like toughest interactions you've had with an individual that has it out for you for some reason. I don't know, maybe you looked at them funny according to them. But let's see, maybe something about the situation, a little bit more context. I just got a wave of heat, I guess, coming off that candle. I don't usually get that. So they're trying to put pressure on you. This almost feels like a trying to convince you to leave when there is no grounds for dismissal. That's what it feels like to me. Like, I've been in positions before, this is a long time ago, um, and I was brand new to utilizing, that looks like another court card. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. A lot of people involved. But the story I was just getting at was when I was brand new to utilizing intermittent medical leave, and I'm in the States, so I don't know how this applies to you, and it could vary state to state. So consult your local resources. I am not a professional. Um, but when I was new to utilizing medical leave, the supervisor I reported to at the time was doing things that were blatantly against the rules. And I was in a very vulnerable position, brand new to a complicated process. Um, they were trying to pressure me into taking a position in a different department. And I didn't know that was against the rules. Like right when you came back, he had like already talked to this other manager supposedly about like just say the word, we're ready for you to go over here and whatnot, and it would have totally derailed my path, because it was in a different, what do the business people call it, vertical than the path I was on. I don't know if that's the right business term, but that's against the rules because of just the reasons that I had mentioned, that you're brand new to this process, you're vulnerable, you're just getting back on your feet and whatnot, and it's like there's legal words and stuff for it, but that's kind of the same vibe I'm getting here, that there's just some sort of nefariousness going on. And this Knight of Pentacles, the slowest knight in the deck, this makes me think like it'll be presented as, oh yeah, maybe it's not what you want right now, but let me future fake you into thinking this is going to be a good choice for you. Because, like, in that situation, that manager made it seem like a lot better of a deal than it really was. And yeah, it's just wrong to do stuff like that to people who are just back from medical leave. But this is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I've been shuffling through this a lot recently. I'm interested in the horary astrology, but also it can help get granular in like personality traits or the zodiac signs potentially of who you might be dealing with. And since we got 3 court cards, I want to see if we can get some more information. That's a bit much. I'm going to take the bottom one. Optimism. Moon in Sagittarius. So, being very wise about emotions. And I almost want to say getting in touch with the potential motives on the other side of the table. Like, for whatever reason, they might be doing this. And it might not be a work situation, it could be something else. That's just what's coming to mind. But it's almost like getting into a really detached state in like observing their behavior and like almost like reverse engineering it, you know? Like, what would a person behaving this way want? Like, what do they have to gain? Like, try to remove the personal stuff out of it. And I know that's hard because you're in it. Um, and remaining optimistic that you can see through this, whatever the situation may be. Because in my example, I didn't take that manager up on their offer, and I'm glad I didn't. I think I would be really, really unhappy with that, with what was being offered. Um, but let's see. And since we have the moon here on the left side, what's the seed? Because the new moon is like the seed planting phase of the lunar cycle. So what's the root of this issue that all these people, 3 people, are involved in? And maybe you're the Knight of Pentacles here in the upright, staying optimistic, moving slow before you make any decisions. Because my example just wasn't a good fit for me. That might not be true for your situation. It just depends on what you're dealing with. What's the root? What brought about this this sneaky energy? The 9 of Wands in reverse. A lack of boundaries? Yours or theirs? Hmm. Because in the example I gave, that was their lack of boundary because that manager was in a position of power over me in a vulnerable state and taking advantage of it. Um, so maybe that's what someone is trying to do because they lack boundaries. Accountability also just came to mind, that like their inability to take accountability is making them try and push something on you. And that's that very like, I don't know, like makes me think of the Thriller posture in the Thriller music video, like just very sneaky and like that nasally laugh, like like just sneaking around. I don't know. I don't really know what that is, but it. Do they think that you don't see this coming? I don't know. Like, is this someone that has like past? It's another court card. I'm gonna say past person vibes, and they're just like trying the same thing that somebody else has tried on you before. Oh, maybe, maybe. Okay, here we go. So the Page of Swords is the spy card. Like this is somebody that's collecting information. And so we've got Page of Swords in reverse, Nine of Wands in reverse. Maybe this is someone that you thought you could trust and you overshared at some point. So now they're going to use the information that they collected because they're slimy and skeevy and then try to get one over on you in the same manner based on a story you've told them before. Gross. I hope that's not the case, but it seems just like it's laughable and like giggling. Like it just as if you wouldn't learn from your mistakes. Like we all have a past, you know, and they're not always pretty. Most of them aren't. Like I don't know. I feel like if your history has been sanitized, it really isn't pretty. It's really bad. Like at least the folks that are showing just the truth of them, of their mistakes and what they've been through, they have that integrity to be like, look, I'm human. It happens to the best of us, you know? But it just seems like this person, whoever's in the vibe right now, like sneaky xenomorph, uh, they don't learn. Like, I'm trying to math this out. It hurts. uh, because if I don't know, I'm trying to get into the put the shoe on the other foot, you know, of there's a fatal flaw, fatal quote unquote, of assuming other people are like you. And like I assume people operate in the world agendaless. And it's gotten me into trouble because I just like don't assume they have an agenda because I don't. And people who do have an agenda will also assume the same thing, that other people have an agenda. I don't I don't know if that made sense. Let's get another card for clarification. Maybe put this train back on its tracks. It happens. And it feels like there's a lot of interference too, just in the vibe, because like the dogs have been barking like crazy before I fired up the camera. Um, I felt like I was missing something. Was that thinking that was a little flippy? The Hanged Man in reverse. So wanting to keep you where you are, to keep you from changing your perspective, your perception. Hmm. It just feels like slimier and slimier. Like this feels really gaslighty. Of the like they're trying to convince you that their perspective is yours, like their idea is your idea. But this hanged man, I mean, he's not going anywhere. Just observe. The Knight of Pentacles in the Rider Waite, I think, is the only horse who's at a total stop, who's at a total standstill. So it just might be about pumping the brakes in regards to whatever this situation is. Like if you get a surprise meeting, or maybe if there's like an extra person in like a normal meeting, like something that's just run of the mill, but you aren't expecting them, then just go into observer mode. But it just feels like it's making my stomach churn. And I mean, I was already drinking peppermint tea because my tummy was bothering me, and I'm being very brave about it. But it it's that icky feeling when you know you're dealing with someone slimy, like that used car salesman feeling. Innovation, Jupiter and Aquarius. So Jupiter, one of the planets that's in your sign right now, expansion and luck. Maybe this does need some sort of new perspective. Is it a new perspective on one of the people involved, though? And that could be yourself. So that could be like, I didn't report that manager when, like, I had that gut feeling that I knew I should have. So maybe it's about being brave. It's about being a you that maybe you didn't think you could be, of putting your foot down when you see something against the rules. And it's okay to be a tattletale when the consequences of not doing that are someone taking advantage of vulnerable people, of taking the easy way out, being discriminatory instead of doing their job. And it's their responsibility to know what that constitutes. That there's mandatory trainings year round at any job. Any job's going to have that. But over here on the right, I want to see what doesn't want to be illuminated. What doesn't the sneaky xenomorph want us to see? That might be my new reference for, I don't know, somebody yucky showing up in a reading. Let's see. What don't they want us to see? What's being hidden? Like that Oz behind the curtain. Like what's the bigger picture here? We need to freshen this up. What don't they want us to see? There we go. 8 of Wands. Something coming in fast. A message coming in fast. Message about what? But what though? Tell me more. Oh, I wonder. Is this like a panel interview? That would be the other instance that I could see involving this many individuals in like a work situation that would make sense. Are you in high demand? Are you very innovative? Oop, here we go. More. Oh, I thought that was a court card. Ooh. Justice and the Lovers in reverse. What? They don't want you to see a message about. This is like injustice. And then indecision. They don't want you to see a message about injustice and indecision? That doesn't quite make sense to me. Or they don't want you to see a message that exposes some sort of injustice, and now there's no question about what you're choosing. Maybe an oracle card will give us a little bit more. Yeah, it's like exposing their misdeeds. Taking that bottom one. Oh. Well, actually, I'd take all 3 of these. It's a little murky. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I snatched those. So we've got fulfillment, Saturn in Sagittarius, patience, Jupiter in Virgo, and control, Jupiter in Capricorn. So a message about something they did for their own fulfillment that was not a spur of the moment. It was not an impulse. And it was like a means of control. Now, for what? I don't know. And it looks like I can actually show all three of these. Because some of these have a little bit of exposure on them. But really cool cards here. And there's even a Jupiter sign here too on this fulfillment card. And it looks like this guy's waiting for a ship to leave, not necessarily to come in, because he's already got his bag of money. So he's trying to bounce. And waiting patiently. So yeah, because earlier I was talking about how, and there I just got that warmth from the candle again, that it's like someone's trying to convince you that something that's their idea is yours so that you won't make a choice. Like you won't actually see the truth of the matter or what options are actually available to you. Because in my example, it was very like used car salesman-y. Like, okay, great, like they're ready for you anytime, and like we can email them right now, or like whatever was said at the time so long ago. Um, but it was those used car salesman tactics of very pushy, very making assumptions. I feel like there's more. What is the more? What more am I feeling? I can't even get to a question about that more. What else do we need to know? Going with that one. Eight of Cups reverse to try and keep you stuck. Why? For why though? I guess this can go over here. Candle started flickering right there. That was indecisive. Trying to keep you stuck, indecisive. So that's maybe a behavior to watch out for. Indecision. Like if you get a gut feeling, I'm not saying, make all your life decisions based on a gut feeling, but examine that gut feeling. Try and understand why that occurred rather than like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're not. Queen of Pentacles, another court card. Wow, there are a lot of people involved in this. I feel like this might be you though. This is like your evolution here of taking your time, remaining optimistic that things will work out in your favor. And the like that macro picture of your favor, maybe not the immediate interpretation of events might seem negative, but it could be actually in your favor in the long run. Just take it how it resonates. But it's like you're able to see all like through all of this and overcome it and get whatever reward they don't want you to have. One more. Because I don't know if it's like recognition, uh it's pentacles, it's material, it could be something physical. Something to do with your pentacles. Maybe whatever this person is trying to like get out of dodge with. Oh, here we go. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. The reward that wasn't theirs, it's yours. I wonder what that is. I guess that will come down to the individual details. But this person or people, it just doesn't seem like they have the best of intentions for you. Because really, at the end of the day, if someone is trying to convince you to do something and make it seem like it's your idea, why are they doing that? Like, why are they being deceptive? If it was really a good choice for you, why wouldn't they just present it up front and be like, hey, have you thought about this? You know? Like, why the song and dance? Just, questions to ask yourself. But since the one of the running themes here seems to be take your time, take pause, let's get a movie or a book or a video game here to keep us occupied. I mean, you can always watch the Alien movies. There's plenty. I don't even know what they're up to now. Constantine. That's a good one. So if you're looking for just a one and done, at least for now, I think they're coming out with another one. But this is, somebody who walks between worlds. So seeing the other side and someone who's come really to terms with his flaws. And it's not that he flaunts them, but he definitely doesn't hide them. So, an interesting archetype to examine within the context of this reading. I'm gonna get a song too. I feel like both. And maybe it's because we've got the sun and the moon thing going on. But yeah, I think they are trying to squeeze the blood out of the stone, of um, Constantine and making a second one. But this is an activity, so something to keep us occupied as well, in addition to a movie. But axe throwing, that's fun. That'll blow off some steam for sure. And we've got Oxytocin by Billie Eilish for a song. I haven't heard that in a while. I don't recall the lyrics, but maybe there's something significant in there. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.